polar monsoons, Himalayan glacier snow, overflowing rivers boost agriculture, population, and trade. Powerful Srivijaya Empire is attacked. With its area of influence impacted, thus begins the rise of port cities. Among them, Singapore. Then, Ayutthaya and Majapahit empires grow in power, and port cities begin to grow. Singapore, affected by stormy squalls, labeled a Balsa Udara, a place where voyages are interrupted, ships steer away. A little ice age sets in. Singapore fades. Fate of port cities shaped not just by power and politics, but by forces of nature too.
Or, as it was known back then, Singapore. Our journey begins 700 years ago. Southeast Asia is a world of winding waterways with ancient empires like Srivijaya and Majapahit. As Srivijaya crumbles, a string of port cities rise along the Straits of Malacca. Our story begins with Sang-Nila Utama, the young prince from Palembang, sanctified as Sri Tribhuwana, Lord of the Three Worlds. One day, he decides to leave Palembang, setting off across the waters in search of a new realm. The storms miraculously steer Sang-Nila Utama to the island of Tamasi. He claims the island on behalf of his lion throne and renames it Singapore, or Lion City. Sang-Nila Utama establishes and builds a thriving kingdom and reigns for the next 48 years until his death in 1348. As many as 10,000 people are living here in Singapore during this first glorious period of her history. The next ruler to impact the fate of Singapore is Parameswara, whose rise to power remains a point of contention to this day. In one historical account, Parameswara is a Palembang prince who flees to Singapore after a failed rebellion, but returns to kindness by killing his host and taking over the throne. Or shall we remember him instead as Iskandar Shah, believed to be the direct descendant of Sang-Nila Utama? Despite his strong rule, he struggles to make Singapore flourish. The port is crippled by stormy squalls, smashing into the harbor, lashing and ripping apart ships moored there. Singapore is dubbed a Balsa de Mora, or a false sanctuary, by the Portuguese. But what causes Iskandar Shah's eventual downfall appears to be a personal vendetta. He accuses a concubine of adultery and humiliates her in public. This leads to the woman's father, Iskander Shah's chief minister, exacting revenge by plotting with enemy forces from Majapahit. Forced to flee for his life, Iskander Shah heads north, finding refuge in Malacca. Thus, the kingdom of Singapore loses the last of its 5 kings, dimming the island's first golden age. But Iskander Shah starts afresh by founding the Malacca Sultanate, establishing it as one of the most important in Southeast Asia. As Malacca's fortunes continue to rise, China takes a keen interest in this region, sending Admiral General to explore opportunities. New China formalizes relationships with Malacca and grants it protection from Ayutthaya and Majapahit forces. Meanwhile, Singapore grows in strength alongside Malacca as a vital naval base with Orang Laut warriors and powerful cruisers. Halfway across the globe, the rounding of the Cape of Good Hope draws a new wave of voyages to Southeast Asia, signaling the European age of discovery. The Portuguese arrive and seize Malacca in a bloody battle. The Sultanate court is forced to move to modern-day Johor. Singapore returns to the limelight as a base of anti-Portuguese resistance and also a Shah Bandar or trading post. Then the Dutch arrive, breaking the Portuguese stronghold in this region. An incident in Macau where 17 Dutch sailors are executed by Portuguese triggers retaliatory attacks. In Singapore, a Dutch explorer named Admiral Jacob van Heemskerk ambushes Portuguese ships laden with goods from China and Japan. He prepares an unprecedented plunder of the Santa Catarina, a ship filled with precious cargo of musk, Chinese raw silk, and porcelain. The Santa Catarina and its cargo are taken back to Europe, where it stirs up even greater interest in the wealth and promise of Southeast Asia. The incident opens up relationships between the Dutch and the Johor Sultanate. Watching this battle between the Dutch and the Portuguese is Aceh, where the Sultan has been expecting the chaos to worsen to his political advantage. When that does not happen, Aceh decides to launch an attack on Johor. Over 20,000 warriors are dispatched by sea to attack Johor and Singapore. The Orang Laut warriors in Singapore, fiercely loyal to the Sultan, put up a desperate defense. Sun began to set for Singapore? Still bouts of curiosity and interest. Since the 17th century, the Dutch have been aggressively building their monopoly in the East Indies. In a bid to break the Dutch stronghold, a 38-year-old British officer from the East India Company set sail into the eastern seas on board the Indiana. His name is Stanford Raffles, and he is determined to find that one free port on the seas. Captain Daniel Ross from one of the survey ships suggests Singapore as a possible base. Raffles decides to take a look at this seemingly unappealing island. Accompanying Raffles is Major William Farber, who will turn out to be a key player in the events that follow. On 28 January 1819, Raffles and Farber set foot on the island and established ties with Abdul Rahman, intermingle. Raffles and Farquhar craft a treaty of friendship and alliance to formalize a British presence on the island. The Singapore Treaty is signed on 6 February at an elaborate ceremony appointing Tengku Long as the new Sultan of Singapore and permitting the British to set up a trading post on the island. In 9 days, Raffles and Farquhar changed the destiny of the region. And the vision Raffles has of Singapore as a great commercial emporium begins to take shape. Over the next 4 years, it will be Farquhar who shapes the growth of Singapore, from clearing mangrove swamps to constructing aqueducts for water supply to building roads and bridges. He is also credited with ridding the town of rats. Farquhar's strategy to invite skilled and enterprising tradesmen works, as the Malays and Chinese from Malacca turn up with ducks, chickens, and vegetables to sell. While his efforts to clean up and build a new town win the respect and admiration of the migrant settlers, Farquhar diverges from Raffles' instructions, leading to an eventual falling out between them. Raffles excludes Farquhar and sets up a committee to look at a plan for development. This leads to the Jackson Clan, named after Lieutenant Philip Jackson, who organizes the settlement and population along more orderly but segregated lines. With the signing of the Anglo-Dutch Treaty in 1824, the Dutch give up their claims to Singapore. Singapore grows exponentially as a free port. Ships come from near and far, bringing wave upon wave of traders, explorers, and settlers. Singapore becomes a vibrant marketplace with peoples from everywhere. Inhabitants of the Malay world, the Boyanese, Minangkabaus, Javanese, and Bugis arrive alongside the Arabs, Armenians, Jews, South and North Indians, Chinese, Scottish, and the English. In Chinatown, merchants Tan Tock Seng and Xia Yuqin work alongside Syed Omar Al-Juni. Narayana Pillai's construction firm builds Chinese offices and homes. British traders Alexander Guthrie and Edward Brewster work with Chinese and Parsi businessmen, while Tan Kim Cheng, the elder son of Tan Tock Seng, works for Guthrie's firm. Haja Fatima's vast landholdings are leased to the Chinese businessmen for spice farming. Munshi Abdullah comes from Malacca and is the writer who provides an extensive record of Singapore's early history. It is a golden era for Singapore, the little island of opportunity, and as tomorrow edges closer, the horizon looks brighter and even more promising.
The new Diana is not just a war vessel that helps fight piracy, she is also a symbol of change. Steam engines lead the way for Singapore's age of industrialization and modernity. And when the Suez Canal opens, everything kicks into high gear. Singapore's links to the world get stronger, and connectivity and communication more important. Newspapers begin to flourish. One outstanding figure is Yunus Abdullah, first editor of the Utusan Melayu and a major champion for Malay education. In 1923, the Causeway opens, bringing a new surge of trade from Malaya. By the time train services start, Singapore's status as an important hub is sealed. With her strategic position and hard-working dock coolies, Singapore becomes the perfect global port. Singapore is also a regional center for Muslim pilgrims, led by companies like Alsagoff Steamship. With every new connection comes improvements to city life. Businessman Tan Kim Seng starts an initiative to provide public waterworks and later has a fountain erected in his name. People come from all over, adding their unique cultures to the melting pot. It's a dynamic era for diversity. This cosmopolitan city works hard and plays hard. After work, people flock to bars and nightclubs and the seductive amusement parks. But beneath the shimmer and shine lurk darkness and disquiet. To cope with pains, coolies behind Singapore's success story turned to opium, a trade which the British established and profited from. In a bid to help opium addicts, Dr. Lim Boon Keng, an English-educated Straits Chinese leader, starts a rehabilitation center. But the working classes face other social problems: prostitution, gambling, malnutrition, and poor sanitation, prompting businessman Tan Jiak Kim to open a medical school. Also attempting to improve conditions is William Pickering, protector of the Chinese. But challenges remain. In 1876, a new, safer remittance scheme breaks the Chinese Tauge's monopoly. Seen as colonial profiteering, it sparks violent rioting. In 1915, another deadly event shatters Singapore. Sepoy soldiers being redeployed to Hong Kong worry that they will end up fighting fellow Muslims at the Western Front. Fanning this misinformation, coffee shop owner Qasim Mansour and the German prisoner of war Julius Lauterbach trigger off the 1915 Singapore Mutiny. Accounts record that the week-long mutiny results in 49 deaths, 56 mutineers killed, and 47 others executed. Even as the Japanese threat loomed abroad, public anxieties quickly abated when the British dispatched 2 warships to Singapore. Perhaps there is nothing to worry about. Prior to the Japanese occupation, the population feels a stronger allegiance to their motherlands than to Singapore. This is all about to change. Loaded into lorries and taken away to be massacred. The Chinese call it Sup Ching, which means cleansing. This is the account of a survivor, Yap Yen Hong.
Our hands were tied, our knees were tight, and we were telling ourselves that They were really going to shoot us. They were really going to kill us. The moment my knobs came into contact with the seawater, it became loose and I swept outwards. My idea was to get away from that area as far as possible. When I looked back, I heard a whistle, an ordinary whistle, and somehow or other it clicked in my mind. This is when the firing would start. I took a deep breath and went underwater, and I could hear the bullets ricocheting above me. I never knew what a ricocheting bullet sounded like. It went shoo, shoo, shoo above water. I heard the chat of a motorboat. When the sound of the motorboat came nearer to me, I stayed underwater.
While the official figure given by the Japanese is 5,000, the number of people killed during Tzu is believed to be closer to 50,000.
After some time, all became silent. Eventually the searchlights were off, and I started to swim.
The Japanese occupation remains a painful chapter for Singapore. We will always remember the local heroes who resisted. Among them, Force 136, Malayan People's Anti-Japanese Army, and the countless others whose names and faces we will never know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now proceed with next slide.
Morning drizzles, afternoon showers, heavy storms. Rain has always been a part of the Singapore story. Clouds of uncertainty hang overhead as Singapore struggles to stand on her feet after World War II. It took us a while to realize it, but our history had made us quite different from the region. Throughout the colonial period, we were never governed as part of Malaya. It's not surprising that later, just 2 years after the merger with Malaysia, we were part ways.
Singapore shall forever be a sovereign, democratic, independent nation, founded upon the principles of liberty and justice, and ever seeking the welfare and happiness of our people in a more just and equal society.
It is August 9, 1968, and we are here at a fire where spectators and contingents are standing in pouring rain. Despite the stormy weather, there is a strong sense that we are all in this together. No one is going anywhere. On this great day in March 2015, thousands of everyday Singaporeans have braved heavy rains to pay their last respects to the nation's founding Prime Minister. Rain has always been a part of the Singapore story. Skies are clearing and sunny weather is forecast. You can leave your umbrellas closed today. all other work to fight this one conflict, we experience strongly a bond as one united people. Singapore fans here at the stadium and many who are watching back home are bracing themselves. Will we finally take home the Malaysia Cup? Here is the defiant moment. Singapore's favorite footballing son, Fandi Ahmad, The people have always yielded medals in regional competitions for Singapore stories. This is the 100th World Final at the 2016 Olympic Games, and it's the fastest swim ever in Olympic history, and it's a Singaporean record, Joseph Stewart, who won Singapore's first ever Olympic gold. At 5:56 a.m. on 22nd May 2009, the Singapore Women's Everest team makes its historic ascent to the summit of Mount Everest. Was a turning point that set us on a new path. Though we didn't know it, our 200 years since then have made us different. What does our history tell us about being Singaporean? Is it being open and connected to the world? Is it being a sum of all our diverse cultures? Or is it being resolute in always charting our unique destiny? Maybe it's a bit of all. It is our time to figure it out. Our journey from Singapore to Singaporean. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of our Singapore Bicentennial experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Please proceed to the stage in the following station.